Hi, this is Carl, and even though I didn't get to travel much in 2020, I hope to get back on the road. And it occurred to me a lot of people are not really familiar with the way electricity flows around the world, so to speak. But let me give you a super quick introduction to that and a note about some safety tips for traveling and kind of the adapters you need and so forth. So this is a 2021 update on traveling and electricity. So the first thing you need to know is that there's two fundamental ways that we describe electricity, AC and DC. So AC is literally alternating current. And what that means is that on one wire, the electricity will be positive for a while, and then it'll be negative for a while, then it'll be positive for a while and negative for a while. So AC is generally associated with much higher voltage, and it travels a much longer distance. So if there's one thing that you could point to and say, Edison got it wrong, Edison bet on DC. So DC generally is something that only travels a short distance, and we use it for lower voltage. Now, almost everything that you own that takes batteries or plugs into a wall actually runs on direct current. So DC, you have two wires, a plus and a minus. So that's that. Electricity only travels in one direction. AC, a specific wire is going to be positive, negative, and it goes back and forth, and that allows it to push that current out farther and farther. So when I say that all of your appliances, your camera, your cell phone, so forth, all those things actually run on DC. So to plug them into the wall, you have to convert from AC to DC. And there's a whole process that we're going to do in another video of how you go about making that conversion from AC to DC. But the thing you need to know is that when you travel, there's generally two types of AC that you're going to run into. So in the United States, we generally have what we call 120, right? So it's 110, 115, 120 volts. So we're just going to call that 115 volts AC. So in Europe, Australia, most of the rest of the world, the electricity is 220 or 230 volts. AC. Now, here's the thing that you have to keep in mind, and most people haven't really thought about this. There's a physical connection. So when you look at the plugs from the UK or the United States, they have a physical look to them. Generally speaking, that's what a plug looks like in the UK. And generally speaking, that's what a plug looks like in the United States. So that's the physical piece of it. An Australian plug is similar to the US, except that the two prongs are at an angle to each other. Actually, it sticks in the wall a little better. If I had to pick one physical connection I'd like, that would be it. Also, 220, even though it's the size of the US 120. Okay, so that's the physical piece of things. Now, then there's the electrical. Now, sometimes the electrical matters and sometimes it doesn't. Here's what I mean. If you have something like a fan or an electric razor that actually plugs into the wall or a hair dryer, it must have the correct voltage. So if you have something that is rated for 110, 120 volts and you plug it into a 220, you are going to blow out your hair dryer, okay? Because it as a rule is not designed to do that. Now, really small voltage DC things are usually smarter than that. So I've taken a couple of pictures. I want to show you that, for example, with the Sony camera, it takes a variety of voltages and it has a standard output. So whether you plug it in in Europe or the United States, either one, it's going to be safe to go ahead and plug the other end into your camera. And the reason is that it does the conversion to the correct DC voltage. Most of your laptops will also make this conversion, okay? Now, there's another thing that I'm just going to tell you about just for completeness, but you don't really have to know much about, and that is that in the United States, as a rule, our electricity is 60 cycles per second or 60 hertz. In Europe and most of the rest of the world that has 230 volts, for whatever reason, they're at 50 cycles per second or 50 hertz. What's a hertz? Well, that's that AC going back and forth between positive and negative. So if it's happening 50 times a second, that's 50 hertz. If it's happening 60 times a second, that's 60 hertz. That matters in electronics at a level that we're not going to worry about. But for the most part, as long as you have a good converter, you're going to be okay. Now let's talk about converters. So I showed this adapter earlier. This is a UK plug. It'll go into a UK circuit. And again, 230 volts. On the other side, it's got a US plug. So you could plug in something from the US that's expecting 120 volts at 60 cycles, and it's going to get 230 volts at 50 cycles. Is that a problem? Well, it depends on what you're plugging into it. Again, things that are sort of more mechanical, fans, hair dryers, that sort of thing, as a rule, you should avoid plugging them into this because this does no conversion from the 230 to 120. It only does a physical conversion of the adapter. So if you need to do the actual conversion and step it down to something that is obviously more safe for any kind of a device, then you need something that's got a little circuitry built into it. So here's a handy dandy adapter. This one just happens to be made by Targus, and it comes apart, but basically it adapts almost everything to almost everything. On this side, it's got that UK plug, and on this side, it's got a US adapter, but in the middle, it's got circuitry that steps down the voltage, smooths it out, and it has what's called a rectifier that changes AC into DC. Okay, and we're going to do a separate video on that, but the point is, this is smart, and you can safely plug in any 120 volt device into this, and it's going to be okay. It's even got a fuse. That little red thing is a fuse that will pop if something goes wrong. Similarly, it's got this adapter, ships with the same thing, that will take the US 120 and it will output to European or UK size adapter. And so in that case, you've got 120 volts coming in here, but you don't have, it doesn't step it up to 230. But it does have two USB adapters, which are 5 volts DC, and so this will safely, you can plug it into a US wall, you can plug in a couple of USB devices. If you've got something like a laptop, again, laptops are awesome because, you know, they got that charge brick in the middle of the power cable. That will take an input of anywhere from 110 to 230 volts, anywhere from 50 to 60 cycles, and turn it into what your laptop needs, which in most cases is around 12 volts or 15 volts DC. So your laptop is safe to plug into any of these things as long as that little charge brick has the right reading. And you literally, in many cases, you should take a picture of it with your cell phone and then blow it up. It will say input is here and output is there, and you will know that you are safe. Okay? Now, travel tips. Yay, at long last. Let me give you some travel tips on how you can make sure that you are prepared anywhere you go. So notice here, I have a box labeled Foreign Powers. This has nothing to do with politics. Those are simply electrical adapters that I own. So early on, one of the best investments I ever made is this thing from Best Tech, and it is a 200 watt power adapter. So basically, it comes with a cord that's got this kind of a end on it that you see sometimes from lots of appliances. That plugs into the side, and here it's got a European prong on it. So then I can plug in all of my 120 volt US devices, plus it's got a boatload of USBs at both 1 and 2 amps. So it's got a fan built in, and it's truly awesome. So that's cool because that gets you lots and lots of stuff. Plug it into any 220 volt, 230 volt circuit, and you're good to go. And it comes with all the adapters you need. So this adapter will take it to the Australian power. This one will take it to the UK physical power. So no matter where you go, you're good to go with this device. But the world gets better. Here's one of the things that if you're traveling with a laptop, I highly recommend you keep your eye out for. There's 2 kinds of extra things that you might take. So the first that I recommend is that you get something for whatever country you're actually visiting. This one is for Australia. This one is for the UK. These have USB outlets. So wherever you're at, you just go to the airport, spend $5, get one of these adapters, and that way you're guaranteed that no matter what else happens, you've got a reasonably small size adapter for your cell phone. So you can charge your cell phone because it's got the USB adapter built into it. So that's a handy dandy thing no matter what else you do. For many of you, if you don't travel with a laptop, this may be all you ever need. Okay, so you don't need the big brick because you don't have a bunch of devices to plug in. I take the larger adapter when I'm traveling with a camera, a cell phone, a laptop, right? Or I might even have friends who are going to come visit and they want to plug in their stuff, okay? So I can make their life easier. Now, I said there are 2 things. So the first thing is the USB adapter in the native format. The second thing is actual cables. So if you know somebody in a country or you buy an appliance there and you don't need it, you can get a cord that will plug into the charge brick of your laptop on one side and plug into the local power supply on the other side. So this is, for the UK, this is strictly 230 volts because I know the charge brick from the laptop is going to convert the electricity. This one is European. This one is for Australia and New Zealand. So all of these take 220 volts and put it into the charge brick for my laptop. It's the charge brick's job to take that down to something that is totally safe for my laptop. If you use those kind of pigtails to plug into your laptop, and then you have enough USB ports on your laptop, again, you could be set. That may be all you need because you got your laptop and then you have the power from the laptop will charge your cell phone. So life is a little easier than it used to be now that USB is so universal and pretty much available everywhere. So as you can see, I have a bag full of adapters. I got all kinds of adapters here. But the truth is, today my life is pretty simple. Whatever country I'm going to, I take that one cable and I take one adapter with the USB on it and I'm good to go. The total investment is literally $5 for a cable or $5 for the USB adapter. It's not a ton of money and it makes your life a lot easier. So important safety tips are, remember that the physical adapter may not convert the voltage. So don't plug in things like hair dryers into a 220 volt source if it's really only rated for 110. Second, look at the label. Everything you buy is going to actually tell you what inputs it will take and what outputs it generates. So many of these devices today will take any input, and so the physical adapters may be good enough. And third, remember, if you really need to have lots of juice and lots of power, get yourself a power brick that you can plug lots of other things into. Again, probably not as useful today as it was 10 years ago, but it depends on how much equipment you travel with. Hey, if you learned anything here or found this remotely useful, give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palchuk wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.